Hey guys, Ralph Himmons here, Beyond Limits. And years ago, I was talking to my good friend, a doctor from San Diego, from Del Mar, and I was doing a presentation for a bunch of doctors coming up, and I wanted to run it by him. So we were on the beach, on the cliffs of Del Mar, overlooking the Pacific Ocean one night, and um, and it was quite interesting. There's a few stories to that, but I told him something that was going on, and he said, you have got to handle this, man, or it's going to just keep affecting you, ruining things for you. And what had happened was my other good friend, Dr. Tance, a really amazing trauma surgeon in San Diego. And man, do I have stories of following him around through the trauma and watching helicopters land and him going into action. But ex-military doctor. But he had sent his whole family to me. He loved me, but he had sent this other doctor to me, and the other doctor was a baseball player, still playing baseball, even though he was in his 30s and a medical doctor. But he was playing high level baseball for him, and and um and he had injured his ankle. He had sprained it and broke it, and then Dr. Tons had fixed it up and with surgery, and he was coming to me for rehabilitation. And so I was using the medical intuitive training that I still use, integrated manual therapy. And if you haven't seen it, it's very light touch and energetic, and it can have some big, profound changes. But but as I was sitting there watching him fill out his paperwork, walking through my office, and it's my office, I owned Mission Hills Physical Therapy, and I had 5 therapists working for me, and I was respected in the community. But I was walking through watching this guy that was probably like 6'2", big baseball looking guy, filling out his paperwork with a kind of grumpy face on him. And I knew he was a doctor. I knew he came from this other doctor. And I was terrified. I was terrified because I had this thing that kept happening to me for my whole life up to that point, where if somebody was a man, a big man, a man that made a lot of money, a doctor, um, I was terrified. I was terrified. And I did a pretty good job, I think, of hiding it. I had hid behind my Mission Hills Physical Therapy owner position, and they came to see me, and I was well respected in the community. But but there he was, and he came into my office, and I started to evaluate him and started to work on him. And he started asking me, "What are you doing?" And the way he said it, I could tell he's like didn't believe what I was doing would be useful at all. And I was explaining how we were working on arteries and veins and some of the trauma that had happened. And there's these techniques to work on it. And he just started getting really belligerent and really belligerent and just beyond just not believing the therapy would work, really cutting me down. And he was coming to see me. And so that happened. And so then I was there talking to my other friend, the doctor, who we were on the beach in Del Mar, and he says, "You have got to handle this, man, because if you don't handle this, they're going to keep showing up. All these," and they had, every time there was a big guy, a rich guy, a guy that had been successful, a doctor guy. Um, there was a couple of instances like the orthopedic surgeon and my other friend who I felt really good about around. They just treated me like a regular guy, and it was, I think, because we were athletes, and um, there was something good about that. But for the most part, I was so intimidated, and I was living in fear and anxiety, and I still had my sweaty hand problem, and I think that's why I took so many classes, tons and tons of classes, because I just wanted to get better at what I did, because I just had this feeling of not being good enough. And and then these guys would show up and confirm those deep fears and anxieties. And I had so many workarounds to try to be calm. Like I wouldn't drink coffee on days that I had clients. I would I wouldn't wear a shirt like this because it was too hot, because it would make me sweat. I would keep windows open. I would keep the air conditioner cooler than most people liked it. I um I ran 70 to 100 miles a week or more to just blow off steam. Although I also loved running because I loved running, but I just couldn't get comfortable. And so when that doctor told me I had to handle it, I did. The next time he came in, I told him, you know, I just said, hey, we can talk about the weather, we can talk about sports, but we're not going to talk about what this therapy does or how it does it. We're just going to do it. And, you know, Dr. Tan sends me his family. If you don't want to come to see me, you don't have to come to see me, man. And I kind of just handled it. And then it was really quiet and it's like, oh my God. So there I was working on him, and he left, and he was on the schedule for the next week. And the whole week I was so stressed. And then like the day before he canceled all his further appointments. And I'm like, thank God. But those guys quit showing up as much, quit showing up as much. It started to like shift things for me, but it was still a lot of uncomfortableness around certain kinds of men. And you know, if you knew my past, it's like I had a stepdad who was 6 foot something, and um, it wasn't good, man. It wasn't good. So of course, as a young kid, I got to learn that behavior that I could get hurt pretty bad by these big guys. So how do you fix that, right? How do you fix that? So the thing is, of course, my body, my entire being was protecting me, right? Like if a big guy, when you're a little 2 foot guy, if a big guy can hurt you bad, you're gonna do things to avoid being around big guys, right? And so what a great way to avoid it is to have sweaty hands, anxiety, to like have such an uncomfortable situation that you just kind of avoid those things. I don't know why I went into physical therapy and had a technique where you put your hands on people, and maybe because most people that come to therapy more often are women, but um, but I'm not sure because I put myself out there anyway. But I I was dealing with lots of stuff, and I think my body was just protecting me. It didn't want me to go through that kind of pain again, and so the triggers were there. Now there's a thing, there's a way to solve this, and it's a lot simpler and easier than trying to change your mindset or trying to have an affirmation like just think a good thought, think that you're powerful, think you know you're safe, blah 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 blah. Visualize your nice beautiful forest setting, and you know all these kind of mind hacks, and you know they just don't work, man. They just don't work. They really just don't work. I mean, it might work in the moment a little bit, you know, might work in the moment a little bit. Like if you're afraid of going on stage, you can get yourself pumped up or calm down or drink chamomile tea or take CBD or marijuana, or you can maybe that's why a lot of performers take heroin, you know. Maybe that's why people run, do a lot of yoga, try to meditate. It's all could be just to like have a workaround to get over whatever that anxiety or fear or imposter syndrome is. But there's a way that's better. There's a way that's better. There's a way to actually solve it. And the thing is, your body is protecting you from something. It's protecting you from something. And there is a way to find it. There's a way to find it. And and um and once it's found, there's a way to look at it very precisely and truly let it go. Not in a, I'm going to think about letting it go kind of way, but to truly let it go, truly let it go. And then you don't have to go meditate to calm down or take heroin or run or meditate or do CBD or put lavender all over your body. There's a way to clear it. So you don't have to like live like that. And you can live free, live free and truly heal that stuff. So there's much more to it. And you can imagine it's not just like one video is going to like solve it out for you. But if you're interested in this, then go to a couple of links. I'll put them in my comment section wherever you're watching this. But it's ralphhavens.com/crush imposter syndrome. That's one of them. And the other one is autoimmuneanswers.com. And there's big healing masterclass sessions in there that you can have and go through for free and really get this what is your body protecting you from idea dialed in. And if it makes sense to you, reach out to me and let me know what you're going through. Leave a comment, message me, email me, tag me. And if you think this is useful for yourself and other people, click like, click heart, click share, And let's get this message of healing out, because there's a lot of people hurting and a lot of people are triggered, and there's a way to clear it. So let me know what you think, and let's get out there and heal yourself and heal the world. All right, you guys.